Chapter 12 of The Tower of Dago by more Jokai. This Librivox recording is in the public domain. Recording by Carolyn. Chapter 12 Nemesis. It was not until the next day that Fyodor learned all that had taken place in the outer world. A company of armed men were now advancing against his fortifications from the direction of the island, while the warship had turned her broadside with its triple row of guns against the tower. After landing a party to storm the building from the land side, the St. Thomas had stood off for the attack. In conformity with custom, the besiegers, before beginning the assault, summoned the fortress to surrender in order that the shedding of blood might be avoided. The very Reverend Herr Weimöner, accompanied by a herald, came as a messenger of peace to the great door of the tower, and, with the blast of a trumpet, called upon its commander to take part in peaceful negotiations. Fyodor sent him the hunchback, who acted as his castellan. "The fellow is stone deaf," said he. "Let them negotiate with him." But the hunchback was not stone deaf, at least when he cared to hear. He merely chose to deceive the deceivers. Right well did he understand the reverend gentleman's summons. According to it, every man would be granted free departure, immunity from all punishment, and as much of the tower's treasure as his shoulders could bear, if only the master were delivered alive into the hands of justice. The castellan first returned and imparted the news to those of his companions who were keeping watch at the door. These passed it on to the others. At this juncture the master appeared in their midst. As of yore they gathered around him and listened attentively to his words. "Men," cried Fyodor, "we have now to stand the test of fire, and show the world what 40 fellows like us can do in a stronghold like this. We have magnificent guns, and enough ammunition and provisions to last till doomsday. We will sweep away all who attempt to creep along that rocky ridge, and will send that ship to the bottom should she dare to come within range of our guns." He paused as if to observe the effect of his words upon those around him, but there was not the spirited response which he had expected. "Even if we be overcome," he went on desperately, "is it not enough if we send the tower and our enemies into the air together, our hands gripping their throats to the last? Thus either they will bear us aloft with them to heaven, or we will drag them down with us to hell. Up then, and ready with fire and sword." Time was when such an address would have been greeted with a storm of applause. Now it was received with silence and strangely sullen faces. Presently the hunchback stepped forth from the band. "Master," he said, "I have heard all your fine words, for you see I am not always deaf, and must say now that it is a very beautiful religion, this that you have taught us. That which is agreeable to me is right, that which is hurtful to another is not wrong. Fidelity, too, is a virtue, then it is not for us, the devil's children. All you say is good, very good indeed. However, we have been promised freedom and a sackful of your treasure if we only deliver you up alive. That is quite agreeable to us, so it is right. You will certainly be quartered. That is indeed hurtful to you, so it is not wrong. If we do not remain true to you, we shall still please the devil perfectly, for fidelity, as you have ever preached, is a virtue. Therefore, we will rather give you up than accompany you in the aerial flight you speak of." They all laughed loudly in chorus, and Fyodor laughed strangely along with them. "What is agreeable to me is right, what is hurtful to another is not wrong," the men shouted derisively in his very face. This, then, was to be the triumph of his religion. They had evidently learned their lesson only too well from him. "But you will get nothing by your treachery," exclaimed the master suddenly, and ere they could lay hands on him he had drawn a pistol from his belt, there was a click and a flash, and Fyodor von Ungarn fell dead in their midst. Alexander and Paul returned to Russia, and like brothers shared the property of their estranged parents between them. But the Tower of Dago still rises high above the rocky promontory of the island, and serves as the safe, untroubled haunt of the wild sea birds for miles around. End of chapter 12. End of The Tower of Dago by Jokai. Recorded by Carolyn in March 2016 in Groningen in the Netherlands. Thank you for listening.